How many Americans actually know where our money is going? I'm not asking where we're told it's going or where we believe it's going. No, I mean what it's actually being used for. Taxes, insurance payments, interest, fees, the money that disappears from every paycheck before we ever touch it. Where are those dollars actually going? And why does the system depend on keeping us in a spot of really missing it? Welcome everybody to 2026 and to a fresh new season of From Dirt We Grow, the second season. And this is the place to find unfiltered truth and deep dives into the issues that it will take to make real changes. Well, in this episode, we're going to attempt to tackle the average citizen's biggest money drains and what systems are in place to bleed our paychecks dry week after week and year after year. First up, what else but taxes? Where are these dollars actually going? I mean, we grow up hearing they're going, to fund our local schools, to fix our roads, for the community safety nets in place. But we look around and we see that schools are underfunded. I mean, teachers are buying their own supplies, for goodness sake. And the roads look like the surface of the moon. And half the country can't afford basic health care. The taxes, the healthcare system, the loans and interest payments, and just crazy fees. We're going to take a look into each one of these. And I really encourage you to stick around, because after I wrap all this up for you in a nice little bow, I think the biggest truth that I've ever had to put out there is going to be told for you. And I don't think you want to miss it. Some people can't much handle the truth, but let's see if you can handle this one. Stick around and see what we got for you. Let's dive in. So now let's break each one of these down one by one. Why payroll taxes hit working people the hardest? So unlike income tax, payroll taxes like Social Security and Medicare fall directly on wages, and rich people often don't pay them on most of their income. Workers pay a flat payroll tax rate on their earnings, but Social Security taxes stop applying above a wage cap, meaning millionaires pay a much lower effective payroll tax rate than low-income workers as a share of total income. According to analysis, low-income and working-class taxpayers can end up paying a higher percentage of their income in payroll taxes than wealthy earners, which is a regressive burden on the working class. Almost all working class income is from wages and thus subject to payroll taxes, while many wealthy people earn income from investments, which aren't subject to these taxes in the same way. Tax code favors capital over labor. Wealthier households often make money from capital gains, dividends, investment income, which are taxed at lower rates than wage income. And because the wealthy earn a large share of their income from investments, their effective tax rate on that income is often lower than the payroll tax rate faced by workers. For example, a person earning the same amount from wages versus investments can pay a much higher total tax bill if that income came from working. State and local taxes are often regressive. So beyond the federal taxes that we were just talking about, state and local taxes, especially sales and excise tax, tend to hit low and moderate income families much harder. Research shows that lower income households pay a larger share of their income in state and local taxes than wealthy households, because these taxes are often tied to consumption, like sales tax, rather than income. In many places, the lowest 20% of earners pay a higher effective state-local tax rate than the top 1%. Translation: rich people may pay more income tax, sometimes, but on everyday purchases and local taxes, working families pay proportionately more of what they earn. Wealth isn't taxed until it's realized. So, adding another layer to the system that wealth itself isn't taxed regularly is that the very wealthy individuals can defer or minimize taxes by holding assets rather than selling them, meaning their large portfolios can grow tax-free until sold. This advantage lets the rich escape portions of the tax code. Working people cannot. And let's not even talk about the corporations and the bailouts they get. When working class people need help, when they are in financial trouble, they get bankrupted, they get job loss, they get homelessness, they get jailed. What the poor corporations get? are government federal bailouts. So the conversation isn't just who pays more total taxes, it's about how the tax structure places heavier relative burdens on wage earners and consumption while benefiting investment based wealth. Looking at point number 2, how healthcare and insurance became legal rackets. So, healthcare prices are set without any market competition. In much of the US, hospitals and health systems have huge market power, which means that they can charge whatever they want because patients have no choice but to pay it. These hospitals build enormous charge masters, price lists that often have services priced at 10 times what they cost to actually provide. So, without price limits or competition, hospitals can inflate prices arbitrarily, and insurers must pay them, then pass those higher costs back to us, the patients, through premiums and copays. Pharmaceutical companies set sky high prices also because they just can. The US has far higher drug prices than other advanced nations because there are no strong government price controls. For many of the top selling medications, drug corporations make more in US sales than all other countries combined. Administrative overhead is huge. Part of what makes US healthcare uniquely expensive is the massive administration burden. Billing, coding, insurance claims, pre authorization hoops. US administrative costs are significantly higher than in other developed countries because providers must navigate many insurers, rules, payers, third, fifth, fourth parties. Everyone pays in premiums, taxes, out of pocket charges to get these companies wealthier. Lack of transparency means no true market. The patients don't know the cost of care until after it's been delivered, meaning there's no real competition forcing prices down. The system's incentive structure rewards higher billing and revenue, not preventive care, cost effective treatments, or low premiums. So, again, healthcare in the US isn't expensive because doctors and hospitals accidentally charge more or because it actually costs that much to do the job. It's expensive because the system lets them set prices without real competition. It protects monopolies through patents and consolidation and structurally rewards higher profits over patient outcomes. High priced drugs, opaque billing, massive administrative overhead, and insurers denying care all add up to a system that extracts money from patients, employers, and taxpayers without delivering consistently better health. Another money drain setting us up for failure is that loans and interest keep us trapped. And that's on purpose. That's by design. A working class borrower may pay 8.5% or more interest on typical loans, while someone with more wealth or better credit might pay significantly less on the same type of loan just because of how they're classified. Then there's the predatory and high interest lending that target the vulnerable. Payday loans can charge 400% plus APR, and many borrowers use them repeatedly because they can't afford to pay them off quickly, which creates a cycle of debt that you can't get out of. Overdraft fees, late fees, penalty APRs, repossession costs, court fines. These only exist because people are short on money. If people weren't struggling, these revenue streams disappear. Here's the quiet loop most people never see. Low wages equals financial stress. Stress, debt. Debt, interest. Interest, less disposable income. Less income, more stress. Repeat. Every step produces profit for someone else. The system doesn't just allow people to struggle, it quietly profits from it. Taxes hit wages first. Healthcare charges more when you're desperate. Insurance profits when it denies you. Loans make the most money when you can't pay them off. Every late fee, every overdraft, every interest payment, that's revenue generated by stress. If people were financially stable, healthy, and secure, entire industries would massively shrink. So instead of fixing the root causes, low wages, high costs, lack of safety nets, the system monetizes the fallout. And that's the way they want to keep it. If this system actually worked for working people, it wouldn't require constant debt just to survive. It wouldn't punish illness, charge interest on emergencies, or turn basic needs into lifelong payments. What we're living under isn't opportunity, it's dependency. A system where taxes are collected in the name of the public, then rerouted upwards through contracts, bailouts, subsidies, and loopholes, away from the people who pay them. Healthcare isn't priced to heal. Insurance isn't designed to protect. Loans aren't meant to be repaid. They're designed to extract, slowly, legally, and quietly. Designed that way from the same people who are telling us to be grateful for the privilege. And the moment people stop internalizing the damage and start questioning the design, that narrative collapses. And the most dangerous thing we can do to an extractive system is to see it clearly. Because once we do, we can't unsee it. And that's when we'll be ready to do something about it. And when enough of us are ready, there won't be enough of them to stop us.